Okay, it's venting time again. I just have to, because, I mean, who else do I vent to otherwise as a dominatrix, as an independent dominatrix? So I just had a client. I'm sure he's going to poorly review me, which is what I absolutely love in this industry too, is the review boards and how people are like, oh yeah, I read reviews on you, and so I wasn't sure that I'd come to see you. Okay, because the one person or the two people that are complete idiots, like this guy, are going to put up some stupid review. So here's what happened. He texted me earlier tonight with extremely short notice on top of it. He wants to come for an extreme torture session. And he says, I can be there in half an hour. So I said, it doesn't seem like you've read my website because I need at least 1 to 2 hours notice. So I booked him in for 4 a.m. after I had to prove myself of not being a scammer to get his $75 deposit. So anyways, he comes over, and he's this teeny tiny little frail looking Indian guy, okay? I ID'd him because I wasn't sure if he was of age. That should tell you something already right there. So I asked him when was the last time that he saw a mistress, and he said that he saw one in Surrey a few weeks ago. Her name was Lucy. Never heard of her, ever. So I went through his list of requests again, which I always do at the beginning of a session, just to make sure we're on the same page. And so he had asked many times if I could be merciless, relentless. He wanted a hard session. He wanted torture. And I kept stressing that I'm fine with that, but you can't make noise. Usually I see people like this in the daytime when my neighbors have gone to work because I'm in a residential area. Fine. I told him the safe word, and because I put a ball gag in his mouth, I told him the symbol that he would do to indicate that the same as the safe word. So blinking and looking right at me, which you're not allowed to do as a submissive in my presence. So I have him ball gagged, and he looks extremely uncomfortable. And it's a ball gag with holes in it, so you can breathe through it. So I remind him that there's holes in the ball gag. You should be able to breathe with your mouth through it. And he starts making this sound, like he's really strained. So I'm thinking, oh, maybe I should hold off on further restraints because I've got him cross-body collared, and I've got this ball gag in his mouth. And so I think to myself, yeah, let me just hold off a little bit here and see how he handles some of this impact play. So I have him lay down on my bed on his back, and I attach the nipple clamps to his nipples that are attached to the ball gag, and he flinches. And so I take my flogger and I start to flog him on his chest lightly, and right away he looks over at me and starts blinking. So in other words, he's doing the safe word. And I take the ball gag out of his mouth and I say, was that too much? Was that, you were basically saying the safe word with your eyes? And he said, yeah, I don't like a nipple, anything with my nipples. Okay, fine. Nothing with your nipples, fine. So I keep the ball gag out now, since he called the safe word out, or called it out, blinked it out, within minutes of me starting any type of impact. So I thought, you know what, if I'm going to have him on his front, then I need to hear him just in case he calls it out, because I've never had anybody call out the safe word within minutes of a session starting. So I start to administer some paddles on his behind, and sure enough, a minute in, not even 30 seconds in, he says, red, red. That's his safe word. So I stop. And I say, is this too much? Because you asked for extreme torture. Like, I'm just getting started. This is like the appetizer before the entree. He says, yeah, that really hurts. And I said, that hurts? I'm barely doing anything yet. Like, I'm just getting started. If this hurts, then why on earth did you ask for extreme torture and a hard session and merciless and all of these words you used? And he said, it's probably just that equipment. Okay, so I I put the flogger aside, or sorry, I put the paddle aside, and I grab my flogger, which is like not even real leather, so it's extremely soft, and it's more like it tickles. And even when I hit it really hard, it shouldn't, cause somebody that wants extreme torture any pain. So I start flogging him. And if you don't know what a flogger is, please look it up. Many people think that that is actually what a whip is, but that's not a whip. It's called a flogger. And I start flogging him, and within another minute, he's wincing, and he calls out red. So I say to him, why did you ask to come here for extreme torture if you can't handle the most mildest impact on you? This is mild impact. If I'm to do extreme impact, that's going to be impossible. You're so delicate. And he said, no, I can handle it. I can handle it. So I start up again with the flogger, and then I move over to another paddle. And within the first 30 to 60 seconds, he calls out red. So I'm frustrated now. And I say to him, I really don't know why you came here for asking for extreme impact play when you can't handle the mild stuff. That's when I asked him if he'd ever seen another dominatrix, and he told me about this Lucy girl. And I said, what made you think that you wanted extreme impact? And he said, oh, I saw it in videos. So in other words, in porn. You know how I feel about that. Porn is just rubbish, especially when it comes to depicting anything to do with domination, true domination. True domination is something that you learn in time. It's not even something that you can just jump on. It turns out Lucy, I said, how old is Lucy? The dominatrix you saw in Surrey, of course. 23 years old. Sure. Okay. Now I'm starting to understand. So I go back over to my phone. I sit down for a second, and I go back through his text to see what other stuff he had mentioned that he liked, just to see, because I swear it was almost all impact play stuff. Whipping, caning. He kept asking for bondage, which I kept telling him I don't do. I have restraints. I don't have rope. I don't know any knot tying or any of those types of things. I basically know about restraints. I have many of them. I don't have rope. I don't do bondage. He asked me 3 times. I should have known then. Big red flag. Anyways, so one of his things says pegging too. He said that he wanted pegging. So I said, okay, so you asked for pegging as well, right? And he said, yes. I said, okay, when was the last time you had something inside of you? And he said, about a month ago. And I said, okay, what size are you comfortable with? Like, what is your biggest size that you can handle? And he said, no, never. I said, what? He said, never. I never had anything inside me. And I said, you just said that you had pegging a month ago. Oh, I didn't know. I didn't understand. So you don't want pegging. Oh, I do. Okay, so why don't we start off with a butt plug then? You did do an enema before you came, right? What is that? Okay, forget it. We're not doing pegging because you haven't done an enema. I'm not about to pull a shit stick out of your ass because you didn't clean it properly before you came to see me. So I go back over to my phone to see what else is on the list. There's slapping, and right now I feel like slapping the shit out of him. So, I go back over to him and I tell him, well, the only other thing on your list is slapping. And so I slap his face, and he's like, and I slap the other side of his face, and he's like, and I'm like, okay, you know what? I don't know, why you came here and asked for the things you asked for. And I base my sessions and seeing somebody on if it's a good match or not. If I think that we're a good match in terms of what you're asking for and requesting and what I'm able to do for you, cater to. So he says, no, let's try again. Sure. Okay, let me go a little bit softer on you. So I take my flogger and I just lightly back and forth. It feels like tickles of not even real leather, like I said, strapping across your back, and then he wanted extreme. That's what he asked for. So I start to pick up the pace a little bit, and I start to go a little bit harder, and once again, within a minute, red. I said, you know what? I don't know why you came here. This is a waste of time. I'm not here to hurt somebody who doesn't really want to be hurt. A sadistic mistress like myself gets a request from what sounds like a masochist in terms of the fetish requests, torture, extreme, hard, all these words have been used. And I get this delicate little, like, 100-pound Indian boy in front of me who can't handle, like, anything. I could have poked him and he probably would have cried. I don't know. So I tell him, you know what, this isn't going to work then. You've wasted my time, literally wasted my time. So I come back over to my desk, I sit down here, and I say to him, you can get up and you can get dressed. There's no point in us continuing because I'm just going to end up hurting you, and that's not what I'm here for. So he puts on his clothes, and I tell him, you know, if I continue to go, it's not going to be pretty. Because I have a very sadistic side to me, and that's basically what you requested, and this is obviously not what you're capable of tolerating. You can't tolerate it whatsoever. So he nods his head, and then I walk him upstairs to the door and let him out. And tell him to have a good day, watch his step, all of that stuff. About 10 minutes later, I get a text. Could I please refund him for the other half hour of his time? I'm like, are you kidding right now? Are you joking? I have a half hour of dead time here because of you. What am I going to do with this other half hour of your time? Really? What? Do you think that I can have another client just pop in just miraculously right now and take over this spot? No. So no, you don't get a refund. That's not how it works. You wasted my time. You asked for something that you obviously couldn't tolerate. Now he spent the last 45 minutes texting me about how unprofessional I am, how I should have continued with the session, and how he still has a half hour of time. And after about 10 minutes of this, I said, you know what, fine, come back, please come back, because now I'm pissed off. And I'm like, I'll do the other half hour of time for you, no problem, and I'll do it exactly based on what you requested, extreme torture. So come on back, please come back. I'm ready for you. And no, I'm already halfway home in an Uber. Well, then that's on you, kiddo. Isn't it? Because I'm telling you to come back. And I'll do the session. I will stick something up your fucking ass right now. I will fucking go extreme, merciless, extreme torture. Just the way you asked. I'll even find a rope somewhere and do bondage because you keep asking that. And I told you 3 times I don't do that. Yeah, I'll do everything exactly the way you asked. You will leave here fucking bleeding, bruised, with welts on your body. Are you ready? So he's going on and on now. Why aren't you texting me anymore? I just saw that pop up on my screen because I turned down notifications. I turned them off so they wouldn't interrupt this little video. Plus, I needed to, defuse here a little bit. And, no, he can't now. He says, why don't we just keep it as a credit and we'll do it another time. No, honey, that's not how it works. My hour session's already on special right now for the end of this year to give people a chance to meet me. And I'm not about to do a half-hour session when I don't even do fucking half-hour sessions with somebody who can't even fucking handle somebody blowing against their face. Literally. Like, fuck off. So I said, fuck off, little boy. Go home. Stop bothering me. Oh, you're so unprofessional. You're so unprofessional. You didn't complete our session. You kicked me out. I walked you to the door politely and asked you to leave. Yes. Trust me, if you got kicked out by me, that would be a whole different experience. I don't know if you'd want to experience that, to be honest with you. I mean, you're welcome to come back, and I will kick you out at the end after your little half hour of what you asked for. But you'll be running out of here. You'll be fucking crawling off the bed. All my neighbors will think I'm murdering somebody. That's how it'll sound. So fuck off. So to all of those people out there that are interested in coming to see me, I barely ever do sessions like this. Impact play, like, to this level is rarely asked for. So the whole image of a dominatrix that people have is not truly what I ever really do. This comes around like twice in a year, to be honest with you. Somebody asking for extreme torture to this level. A couple times a year. So make sure you know what the fuck you're asking for if you're coming to see me. Don't ask me for something that you haven't fully educated yourself